Hey NutraBio, welcome back to my lab, my little playground here. You know, it's not always as exciting as would make it out to be behind the scenes here. Sometimes it gets a little boring, like this process I'm working on right now. This is like watching grass grow over time, but it's actually an extremely important process during the design phase of a new supplement. What I'm doing here is, you can see I have 3 samples of this new supplement, and if you saw something I posted the other day, that's part of the design that's getting erased sometime this week. And I put it in this chamber, and this is called a desiccant chamber, and it's designed usually to pull out moisture from the products that are put inside. I've reversed that process, and I'm trying to add moisture to this, because what I'm testing here is how temperature and humidity over time affect the composition of the product. Now, you've all bought pre-workouts out there. You get them home, open the container, and they're hard as a rock. Or maybe they're fine when you get them, and then a week or two later, after you've opened and closed and opened and air's going in and out, they start to clump up and get hard. Those are some of the things we're trying to prevent in the early design phase of the supplement itself. So let's look at what's going on here. You can see I'm going to open the chamber. You can see I have 3 samples inside here. T1 was added a week and a half ago, and T1 was added at ambient temperature and ambient humidity levels, and you can see that there's no clumping, hasn't turned gummy at all, hasn't hardened. Some of the particles, smaller particles, are clumping together a little, but that's okay. T2 was added 5 days later at a humidity level of 55%, and that's fine too. No clumping, it's not gummy at all, still powder form. T3 was added 5 days later at 65% humidity level. So this has gone through 5 days at roughly 45, 55, 65, and this has gone through 10 days, and this has gone through 5 days. And we're looking at the effect of changing, raising humidity over a longer period of time, and also of just putting a product right in at a higher. Now we're gonna take this up to 75% and then 85% humidity levels, because we wanna see some of the worst case scenarios. Now what we're looking at here is not just the composition, whether it clumps or not, that's very important, but also we're looking at organoleptic changes. For example, color change. You can see here that color has not changed, it's pretty stable. And when we're done, we're gonna check it to a reference sample and see if it's changed. But we also have to add water to this at the end and check it the way you would do it, in a drink format, to see that maybe it changes then, because the chemical composition of the color additive that we put in here might really have changed. And we expect it to be orange and it's brown. We have to prevent that. We have to look at taste changes, taste profile changes over this high humidity and temperature change that we're doing here. And also the nose, the odor. We don't want something that goes in here to smell like fish over time, which has happened to some products. I threw a supplement in here a long time ago, a really cool pre-workout. The first phase of it, you might remember it as Project X or Project Pump. It was a pure white powder, and over 36 hours, that pure white powder turned to a black sludge, almost like a liquid sludge. Now, you can imagine if I don't test something like that. It looks great coming out of the blenders. I throw it in a container, it gets out to somebody in Jersey here, no problem at all, but people in Florida open it and close it for a couple weeks long, and they open it, all of a sudden they got black sludge. Not something you want to do to a customer. So again, we're looking at changes in the composition, taste profile, color, odor, and the nose of it, to make sure that all the organoleptics and everything is fine when we're done with this process. But we also then have to take it a step further, because just because it all looked good doesn't mean it actually is meeting the label claim here. So I've got to take this and send it to the lab, and I've got to test each of the active ingredients to make sure that they are still intact, that there wasn't a chemical change in one of them, maybe something hydrolyzed, and 1 or 2 of the ingredients are no longer in the format or the chemical structure that it should be. So I've still got to make sure that is done. And all of this is just one part of the process. While this is going on, we're going through blend uniformity tests on this. If this fails, that blend uniformity test is, we got to start over from ground zero. So we're trying to see how we can blend this, what period of time, what blender we're going to use, so we get homogeneous blends. If that works out, if this all works out at the end, then we know we have a good product that we can get to you. But there's one more stage. We've got to go and put it into a pilot run out on the production floor, because there's a lot going on out there. There's blending, there could be sifting, there could be grinding, All these blenders and even the packaging, the auger machines have screws that create like a high shear, can create temperature changes. Some of that production process can have the same effect that what we're doing here. So when this works out and the blend homogeneous testing works out and we put it through a production and the pilot run gets tested and everything is intact, then we're pretty much there. Then we can go out for final stability testing to make sure it's going to meet label claim for the 2-year shelf life that we have. So this is a lot of the stuff that's actually going on behind the scenes that people don't realize. It's not just taking a bunch of ingredients that you see other companies have and you dump them into a tub, you shake them up, you put a fancy label on it and ship it out. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make sure that when you get the product, every scoop, every dose is uniform. Every ingredient that's listed on that label is in every single dose in the exact dosage that's promised. And these are some of the behind the scenes steps that we go through to make sure at the end you get exactly what we're promising you.